Hi guys, welcome back to Jade Simply Watching TV. So today we are getting into Sex in the City, season 1, episode 2. This is called Models and Mortals. So this episode is basically about the whole issue they have with dating and the competition of models when they're looking for a man. So the scene starts out with Miranda at a dinner party. Just what happened to dinner parties? Like when I was watching TV younger, sorry, we're gonna get back to the episode, but real quick, watching TV when I was little, I was like, oh yes, this is gonna be great. When you become an adult, you're gonna have all these like nice dinner parties that are classy at somebody's nice apartment, and you talk all night with your friends and you have like so much fun. What happened? What happened to dinner parties? Like, let's do it, you guys. And not even like, oh, we have to be the best of friends. It used to be strangers that would like, okay, not, that sounds terrible. It used to be people who didn't really know like everybody like that could be comfortable in the room, keeping up conversation and just having the time of their lives. Let's bring that back. So, but until we do, let's get back to the episode. So they start off at a dinner party, and Miranda was invited by this guy that she was on a first date with named Nick. And they were having a blast. They're going around talking about all different kind of things. Miranda is keeping up with the conversation. Like, she's really having a great time with Nick on a first date, mind you. Like, this is really kind of like, I don't know. It's real unfamiliar because on the first date, everybody is just so nervous and it's just like, oh my God. But she was comfortable. She was having a really good time at this dinner party with Nick and his friends, and everybody loved her. So at a certain part of the evening, Miranda goes into the kitchen with his women friends, and they have a conversation in the kitchen, and they're just like, oh, this is really great, like Nick is just really fond of you, like you guys are having a great time. And she's like, yeah, I'm really having a really good time with you guys, like you guys are really great. And one of the friends spills like kind of the beans about them. I guess they gave him an ultimatum, and she's like, I guess he took our ultimatum to heart. And the other friend is like, girl, shut up, why would you say that right in front of her? And Miranda's looking like, what are y'all talking about? And so they say, like, Nick is a modelizer. He likes to date models, and he has a thing for models, and that's all he would bring around at the time. And it kind of shows like a flashback of like some times where he would bring models to the party. Now, they're great to look at, precious to hold. Can't keep a conversation up for nothing. I don't know what rhymes with old and but the problem was they couldn't keep up with the conversation. They weren't fun. They weren't having a good time at the party. The friends weren't having a good time with them. It was a lose-lose situation. He was the only winner because he brought the model. It looked good on his arm and he was getting some at the end of the night. But they were like, you cannot keep bringing these models around here. Like, they can't hold a conversation. They're throwing up their dinner in our bathroom. Like, this is ridiculous. Stop bringing them around. And so he was like, okay, fine. I'll bring Miranda, somebody who is definitely not a model, but can keep up a conversation and has a really good personality, so this kind of irritates Miranda, and she's like, okay, what do you mean by I'm definitely not a model? Like, I mean, of course, it is good to know that she has a good personality and that people like her company when it comes to having a conversation of depth. But it's like, am I not fly? Am I not fine? Like, you don't see, like, when you see me, you don't say model. So so that sparks a whole kind of like issue, not issue, but it's like a thought-provoking thing between her and the girls. And the girls are kind of going over like how hard it is now to date, because it's like men are really like only into models. Men only want to date like perfection, basically, which makes it hard for like not the real women, but it's like, when you think of course we're going back into early 2000s, that time when you think of a model, size 0, no tummy, breast lift, no butt, just very slim and trim, face perfection, no double chin, like that kind of stuff. So it's like when you are only into dating those kind of women, and then you turn around and you get around another group of women who have a tummy, have a double chin, have pimples, have worry line, stuff like that, that real, like, that everyday individuals have. It makes it a little harder because now you feel like there's something wrong with the people that have those things because, oh, these models, they're perfect. They don't have that. And it's like, that's not realistic. So they have that whole kind of thing. And then the girls kind of spill into what they hate about themselves. Charlotte hates her thighs. Carrie hates her nose. Miranda hates her chin. And Samantha's like, I'm good with the way I look. I'm flawless. I am happy. And they're like, you paid to be, so you should. So they kind of do that whole thing, and then they get into the actual men who are modelizers, and then they also get into the two type of men who are attracted to models. And they say that the one type of man is a slime ball who just is only focused on having sex, and he does not care about being a good guy, being in a relationship with a model. He just wants to do a model. And then there's another one who like instantly falls in love with the models because they're oh so beautiful and they're drop dead gorgeous, and it's like, pick your face up. So they have that whole kind of thing going on. And then we meet Barkley. Who is an artist. I like to call Barkley an artist with an inheritance because despite him not being able to sell any of his paintings, he's still living that life and he's still getting models from every which way. And if y'all watch the episode, you'll see like he's getting models. And it's like, how? Other than you spending somebody else's cheddar because you don't have your own, like there's no way you're not selling your worldly possessions. So introduced to Barkley and we get into his real art collection. So now he shows the paintings, but then he starts to show Carrie what he really has, what he really spends his time making as an artist, that he can't introduce to the world yet. And he turns on the TV show. It is popcorn. Like, it's crazy. It's all kind of different models that he's sleeping with that he got all on camera. And Carrie's looking at this like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, I only do this with models. So like models is my thing for sure. That is where I am. Where a model is, I am. If you see a model, you see me. If you see me, you see a model. Like that's him. That's his thing. Because now not only does he have this conquest to just, like capture every model in real life and on film. So that's Barkley. And he has this thing. We freeze frame on Barkley and we switch to Skipper and Carrie walking down the street. Skipper, remember Skipper? Skipper is in love with Miranda. He wants to see her again, whether she wants to see him or not. Child, she has not returned Skipper's phone calls, despite them making out outside of the club last episode, after they surprisingly kind of, sort of, I guess, hit it off on their first date. She has not returned his phone calls. Miranda's kind of just like I like him, but I don't want to like him. Or maybe she doesn't like him and doesn't want to hurt his feelings, but still wants to. I don't know what's going on. But she does not return. She has not returned his phone calls. He's been calling her nonstop. He's been asking Carrie about her, like, does she like me? Does she talk about me? Does she want me? Are you going to call me like you said you would? Is this your real phone number? Like, all kind of stuff like that. And Carrie is like, kind of regretting the whole setup, which you should. I don't think that it's really safe for people to just set up their friends with people. It just gets so awkward. Like, I mean, a great love story if they hit it off, but what if they don't? Then it's weird and somebody's feelings are going to be hurt. Somebody not going to call somebody back. And you're not really responsible for how it happens and transpires after the fact. So I just think that's a little awkward. I don't think I'd put myself in that situation. Girl, you're just going to have to do your thing. I don't know. I can't. I'm sorry. But it's just, I don't know. So he's like, well, can you call her and let her know that I am calling her? And she's like, okay, sure, whatever, fine, whatever. And he's like, no, do it right now. And she's like, you want me to call her right now? And he's like, yeah. She pulls her big old refrigerator box phone, pulls the antenna up and dials Miranda's phone number. That's what the phones were, honey. Big old shoe of a phone. And calls Miranda, and thank God gets her voicemail. And she's like, oh, okay, I got her voice machine. He grabs the phone and he's like, hey, Miranda, this is Skipper. Remember me? Yeah. Carrie told me you haven't been answering your phone. You haven't been talking about me. You haven't been returning my phone calls. Now you gotta return my phone calls. So call me back. Call me back. And it's really weird. It's like, Skipper, what are you doing? Like, be for real. Come on. Like, know when to effing stop. In the words of Orlando Brown, that is. Know when to, like, chill out. Like, she don't want to talk to you. Or maybe she does and she's being weird about it. But again, do you want that anyway? Like, do you want somebody who is, like, conflicted about calling you back? No, we don't. We want somebody who's going to be like, I want this person. He don't get it. He really don't get it. And he really just put Carrie in, like, the most awkward conversation. Because what kind of voice message is that? Skipper, do better. Honestly, Skipper, like, let's get it together. Oh, so we freeze frame on Skipper, thank God. And we go to Stanford Blanche, our favorite, and Carrie at the fashion show. So Stanford has one of his clients is an underwear model named Derek. And he is so fun. Oh, Derek is so good looking. Like, Derek is so good looking, but it's like it's definitely that model good looking. It's not like maybe he's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline. It's definitely Maybelline. Definitely easy breezy beautiful because he's a model. And so he's, in his underwear, ready to go, ready to rock the show. Stanford is in love with him. Like, he's waiting for Derek to be like, Stanford, it's you. It's always been you, boo. But, I don't think that's, or maybe it is. I don't know. So Carrie meets him and she's just like, oh, okay, cool. Another model or whatever. Samantha gets to the fashion show and she finds these seats that are like in the perfect space where you can see all of the model's flaws. So they're sitting in that row, like pointing at, like, look at that double chin right there. Like, look at that pimple that she popped and now it's going to become an acne scar. Like, girl, what? So they're sitting there just ridiculing the models and Derek shows up. Of course, because like we said, if you see him, you see a model. If you see a model, you see him. No, did I say Derek? I'm sorry. Barkley. Oh, my bad. Barkley shows up and he sits right behind Samantha and Carrie. And so Samantha, of course, is like, who is that? And she asks if he is heterosexual or homosexual in the most interesting New York-ish way. What is it? Is a martini straight up or with a twist? I said, oh, okay. And so then that's when Carrie starts to tell her, like, no, yeah, straight up, but he's only into models. Like, he will only do models. Samantha does not take this as a sign of rejection or defeat. Like, she's like, bet he gonna take this whether it's a model or not, and I'm gonna go for it. So all night, of course, that becomes Samantha's, like, I think, you know what, Samantha's one of those people where she gotta, like, zone in on a dude that night and, like, try to seduce him. And if he's not into it, she's trying even harder. And sometimes she'll give up and move on to the next one, but it has to be a guy that night. And sometimes you can kind of look at it like, that's a little fun. It makes the night interesting. And then other times it's like, girl, you're not exhausted. So she is, that's her journey that night. She's gonna find Barkley and she's gonna do what she needs to do with Barkley. So later in that evening, the fashion show, they go to the after party for the fashion show, and it's just so loud. It's just so like whatever. Mr. Big walks in, you know what I mean? And he's just like, oh, hey, Carrie, calling her cute or whatever. First of all, I don't appreciate the fact that Carrie said that he was out of her league. Yes, he's what is he? Some kind of tycoon. But it's like, girl, pick yourself up. What you mean he out of your league? And even if he is, don't say it. Like, oh my God. So she's like, yeah, he's so out of my league. And I think the relationship in the future acts like it. Like, she acts like he's just so up here and she's just so like down here, and that's like not what it is. And so at first he looks like he's by himself, so they're doing their little flirtatious repartee back and forth, and then here comes Misha. Honey, Misha's bad, another model, and he's just like, well, maybe some men are just attracted to exceptionally beautiful women. okay, touche, like whatever, you know. And here comes Misha. Misha is like, boom, look who stepped in the room. And she looks good, whatever. And he's like, yeah, this is Misha, blah blah blah. Carrie's self-esteem, when I say in the toilet, is like done. It's just like she's ready to go home at that point. And she even says as she's walking to the cab, like, I've never felt more invisible in my life. Here comes Derek. And Derek is like, hey, Carrie, you leaving or whatever? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go. And she's like, did Stanford leave? And he's like, no, he's in there, he says that Stanford's in there giving a massage to somebody, some other model or something like that. So Carrie's like, oh, okay, well, I'm about to go home. And he's like, well, can I go? I'm tired of the party scene too. I want to roll. Like I'm done with this. And she's like, you want to go home with me? And he's like, yeah, I do. It's really loud and I'm really tired. And she's like, God, oh, sure. So they go home and, well, to her house or whatever. And this is why you always have to make sure right before you leave for like a party or an event that your house is just good, because you never know who you're going to pick up. Yeah. So they get to her house and they're having this conversation and they're just kind of talking about things like flaws and what they want to do when they, get older or whatever, like they're 15 years old. And she even says, she's like, I feel like I'm 16 when I used to be study with this guy in my bedroom who was like really, really cute. And all he wants to do is just like go to sleep. Like he doesn't even want to have sex. And this even leads Stanford to further believe that he's gay. Because he's just like, oh my God, Carrie, I know you did not. Because he thinks that they slept together. But she's like, no, like he just wanted to lay. He just wanted to talk and stuff like that. And that's what we did. And he's like, I knew it. I knew it. So, that kind of like, I don't know, questions like her whole thing of like, so models don't want to be with my other models. They just want to be regular people, which makes sense because I guess it gives it balance. Like if two models are together, like it's two of the exact same thing all the time. And it's just like, no, like I want to be with a regular person because that gives me kind of like the break from what I deal with. So I get that, I guess. So Skipper runs into Miranda at the corner store and she's trying to be all avoidant and stuff like that. Like she don't want to talk to him and stuff. And then she changed her mind and she's like, no, like, let's go back to my house. And Skipper's such a nerd. He's like buying cereal and he's like, oh, let me get this here. She's like, I have cereal at my house. And he's like, oh, right. So that turns up for him. Samantha made good on her promise to herself and she got in bed with Barkley. She asked him, she's like, so where's your recorder? And he's like, he humbles her, but not really, in like the most annoying douchebaggish way, right? He's like, oh, that's only with models. Like, what? And she's like, I don't mind. And he's like, okay, I'll make an exception. Shut up and get the recorder. How many times are you going to tell me I'm not a model? Like, knock it off. So they do it. And she's like, no, you're going to treat me like a model. I'm gonna be on your wall, just like all these other models. Like, don't play me, right? So at the end of the episode, Carrie runs into Big again. I'm tired of seeing him already. And we ain't even gotten good into the series. She runs into Big and they have this whole conversation about models again and stuff like that, and he's just like, yeah, beauty is great and everything, but you also just want somebody who you can just talk to and just be yourself with and stuff like that. And then of course now she's rethinking everything she's ever thought about over these last couple of days about models and relationships and men and who they're attracted to and stuff, which is so annoying because it's like, oh, okay, so one day you was thinking this way, but then here comes Big saying something, whatever he wants to say, whenever he wants to say it, and now your opinion is just completely different. Big just sometimes play her like a fiddle to me. Because again, were you not the same one last night that was just sitting up talking about, well, maybe some men are just attracted to exceptionally beautiful women. Now you saying that exceptional beauty is just whatever and it'll fade. And then you, at the end of the day, you need somebody to talk to. Make up your mind and stop playing with hers because that's what you're doing. And I don't have time. This is why I don't have time for Big. I don't have time. I don't have time. at all. Forbid. So that was definitely season 1, episode 2, Models and Mortals. It's just so interesting to see how their opinions just go back and forth with beauty standards, and it heavily influenced by the opinions and thoughts of men. By the way, at the end of the episode, Nick was so tired of his models and his modelizer ways. He was like, all they do is keep you from work, and they ruin your life, and you're not able to get any work done, and oh my God, I'm 34 and I'm old and I need to retire. Y'all don't want that still be trying to act like y'all 16, walking around here at 40 years old, still trying to act like you 16, partying with models in the club, knowing that your bedtime is 8:30. So like, enough with this. Enough with this. So that's what he gets. But join me next week for season 1, episode 3. And we'll be back. Bye.